Hey guys, and welcome to another showdown between myself as the Vampire Coast going up against Everchicken as Grand Cathay. Now we're going to be playing on Gorgazan, a nice flat wide map which you would expect here for the Vampire Coast to bring quite a lot of range. However today that's not going to be the case. So for my opponent we are going to have 5 units of the Jade Warriors in the front, very standard, very strong here along with the Harmony bonuses. Jade Warrior crossbows in the backside, 5 in total, really going to shred through a lot of my cheap infantry, and then lots of course of the Peasant Long Spearmen. In the rear for the mobility, 3 units of the Peasant Horsemen, backed up here by the legendary Righteous Lances of Wei Jing. And these bad boys are super powerful. They are going to be having the Guardian ability, immune to psychology, which is really good up against the undead, and then lots of armor piercing with that charge bonus. In the sky, we are going to have the Dragon-Blooded Lord of Yin, this bad boy here with the Jade Amulet, alongside the Will of the Dragons. Lots of spells with the Talons of Night, Ancestral Warriors, the Missile Mirror, and then also the Storm of the Shadows. And the last ability here, the Scales of the Celestial Court. Now for myself, absolutely no guns in the build, super wide, looking to envelop my foe, as we see here, 4 units of the Scurvy Dogs, 2 on either side, 4 units of the Fellbats as well. They're going to be diving down on all the range, shutting them down as much as possible, and then in the middle the Animated Hulks. These bad boys are super awesome looking, and very cheap for lots of armor piercing. They can really rack through the front line, support all levels of infantry, and just pack a huge punch. And the same goes here for the Berserkers of the Depth Guard. These boys are scary, not just to look at, but to fight against as well. With Frenzy here and the Hunger, making them pack such a humongous punch with lots of tank. In the middle, the Deckhand mobs, 5 units in total, just bringing as much health as possible to absorb all those crossbow bolts. And for the man that's going to be leading this ginormous push, it's going to be Count Noculus. So here on foot today with the Arcane Conduit, and then also the Curse of the Undeath, with the spells of Invocation of Nehek and the Drowned Dead, with the abilities of the Captain Wrath Moondial, and then also Wrath Storm. So not everybody expects here the undead push, but today I really wanted to take this training session and show my trainee here that actually sometimes factions that you expect to shoot can also push. So we're going to be diving forward here. We have the Jade Warriors that can going to be pushing forward. It's going to be really difficult for the Deckhand mobs to get through, but I can kind of just keep them busy and allow all my elite units to get in the back. So Spell in the middle coming down with the Wrath Storm, doing really nice damage up against the Jade Warriors. Fellbats diving down on the Jade Warrior crossbows. They're going to die very quickly. They have lots of armor and they can actually fight pretty well in combat. The Lord Choice is going to be joining. Crossbow is going to be moving across here, maybe trying to see if we can shoot up against the Depth Guard. Of course, they have no shields. And also the Animated Hulks, not particularly high on armor. So coming across with the Peasant Long Spearmen, very nice. The bonus of the Slasher will do quite good here and very cost efficient. In the middle, we are going to get some summons. The Deckhand mobs going to be just compromising all the range, just stopping them from shooting as much as possible. Fellbats on the side with a summon here of the gunnery mobs. Now, if you do overcast, they do summon here with the pistols, and I much prefer them with the pistols. They really do pack such a good punch. In the backside, Animated Hulks fighting, unfortunately, up against Peasant Long Spearmen, and we do see Fellbats here chasing off the Peasant Horsemen. In the middle, crossbows still going to be firing in the front. They'll do some really good work here up against the Depth Guard. But we are going to be losing the front line. But here, I'm not here to win. I'm just here to hold. In the middle, we do get the legendary summon of the Ancestral Warriors, the ethereal units themselves. Lots of physical resistance and armor piercing. Makes them a very difficult target here to deal with. In the backside, the Lord Choice is going to be fighting up against the summon of the Deckhand mobs. Death Guard are going to be punching in the middle. They're going to be fighting really nicely up against all the crossbows and those Jade Warriors. Lord Choice is going to be finishing off the summon, but Noculus is coming through. Now, he's an anti-large armor-piercing sniper. So if I can get him here on the Lord of Yin, that's going to be excellent for me. In the middle of the Animated Hulks, exactly where I want them, punching up against the Jade Warrior crossbows. But nicely here with my opponent, we are going to have the Peasant Long Spearmen having a really nice counter. Righteous Lancer is going to be fighting up against the Deckhand mobs, as I am going to be losing in the front. Now the Depth Guard do push back some of the infantry, but they're going to be getting a bit far away there for me. In the backside, Peasant Long Spearmen are going to be charging forward, trying to see if we can stop those scurvy dogs, doing what they do best, getting that mobility around the backside, shutting down all these Jade Warriors. Charging forward, Animated Hulks, I'm trying to get around. I do not want to fight these Peasant Long Spearmen, but in the back here, look at this, just taking down as many of the Jade Warrior crossbows as possible, chasing them off with absolutely everything. In the front, we do see the Death Guard breaking down up against the Jade Warriors, just diving forward heroically here. The Peasant Long Spearmen going to be holding back the tide of the undead. So it looks like we have Count Noculus. I'm trying to get him in here up and amongst the Dragon-Blooded Lords. And you can see, I love the effect of the stance when they get that extra armor. And the nice green shields here come off the Jade Warriors. It's really, really nice indeed. Foulbats in the back. They're going to be diving down here on the Jade Warriors. And it looks like, I don't know where the Peasant Long Spearmen are going. I think they actually just really want to get onto the Animated Hulks, which is why I've kept them out of the way. But here we go. Scurvy Dog's going to dive forward as well. I just really want to get rid of as many of these crossbows as I can, because in the late stage, he could kite me if I do run out of mobility. In the middle, it looks like we are going to get a summon, the second and final one here of the Ancestral Warriors, and here on the side I do summon the Gunnery Mobs. Now, the reason I want the Gunnery Mobs is I want them to shoot here up against the Righteous Lancers. I don't have any range, so summoning some is really, really important. I have nothing to counter these big bad boys, and I just need to shoot them down as much as possible. So nicely here from Everchicken, he's going to be diving on with the Lord of Yin, just trying to compromise my range as much as possible so I can't shoot up against the Righteous Lancers. The summon here going to be wrecking through Count Noculus. You can see that frostbite going down, slowing him down, and of course they have enough armor piercing that could really cause him some damage. Invocation of the Heck going down, just trying to keep as much balance of power in my favour as I can. And it looks like we are going to get a Storm of the Night. Lots of armor piercing here for that spell. A very good counter up against Death Guard. As you can see, those claws just coming from the death and shredding through anything in its path. So it looks like we do have the Righteous Lancers diving away. Not too many models, 21 here. A little bit of healing would have just been perfect to get them back in tip-top shape. But sadly here, the Yin magic doesn't quite have that in the pocket. Death are going to dive forward. It looks like we are going to be trapping the Dragon-Blooded Lord. And if I get on here with the Animated Hulks, that could be the end here. That's going to be really devastating. Lots of weapon strength, lots of armor piercing, and just nowhere to go here for the Lord of Yin. So they're going to be trapped in the middle. We do have Jade Warriors nice and close, but they're going to be fighting up against Death Guard, and in comes Noculus. He's going to be charging down with that halberd. Really wants to get back, but it looks like the Lord Choice gets away just from the clutches of death there, manages to resurface in the sky and get away once again. Now, Righteous Lance is going to fly away. More healing for Count Noculus. And with the healing in my back pocket, this game, the longer it goes on, is going to favour me. Of course, we do have healing for the Death Guard as well when they fight in melee combat. And I still have lots of mobility left. Fellbats chasing off the Jade Warrior crossbows. Peasant Long Spearmen coming back into the fight. And it looks like the Righteous Lance is going to dive into the backsides here of the summon of the Deccan mobs. They're going to get away. Noculus does have that halberd. If he even just connects with one of them, it's going to be a nice, beautiful death per hit. In the backside, we do see Animated Hulks. They're going to be trying to get in and just cause as much fear and terror as possible. Foulmatch coming across, maybe a rear charge here on the Jade Warriors would be quite nice. Death Guard still fighting, and they're actually going to be wavering. They've actually got to 380 kills so far in the battle with the double chevron. Lovely stuff indeed. What is going to be here for Noculus? Another invocation of Nehek, just keeping him in tip-top shape. In the sky, we do see the Dragon-Blooded Lord and the Righteous Lancers. They really don't have any place to call home. Of course, anywhere they dive here, they're going to be fighting into either elite infantry or armor-piercing monstrous infantry. So they need to dive down quickly, otherwise all the infantry on the floor here is going to break. It's then going to be army losses. GG's and well played here to my opponent. A valiant effort indeed. Now, of course, a very rare one here going with the Vampire Coast Rush, but it's something I really wanted to show that can be done. They're not just a one-dimensional faction that can only either shoot or sit behind bombs on the front line. So Count Noculus, 56 kills, 880 damage value, 1,270 for the Death Guard, 1,400 and 1,550. And you can see over 1,000 kills between all of them. They really are a pain in the backside to deal with here for Grand Cathay. So 175, 320, 130 and 600 for these scurfy dogs. Just having them in the backside with that mobility and the fact they're undead and they cause fear, it's just, you know, it's so nice to have that there as the undead. 140, 190, 16 and 330 for the animated Hulks. 130, 100, 380 and 250 for the Fellbats. 150, 150, 50 and 470 there for the Deccan Mobs. 500 from the Lord of Yin, 970 for the Righteous Lancers. I thought this was a bit of a bold pick, because even if I went any sort of range tool, you would have had to compromise all of them before you can get these in, because otherwise they would have just got it blasted within an inch of their life. 270, 450 and 500, 300 and 250 for the Jade Warriors. Crossbows 950, very nice value there indeed. 350, 300, 200, 500. 400, 440, 250 there for the Triple Peasant Horsemen. And the long spears coming in at 230, 300, 350, 280 and 170. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this one. If you did, do smash that like button, leave a comment down below and subscribe if you haven't already.